Well, hello all, and welcome back to another episode of The World According to Tone. Another hangout here on a awesome Saturday here in the good old state of Michigan. Now, we've been dealing with all sorts of weather recently around here. It's been super duper hot, and finally, it's starting to kind of cool back down. And we're getting rain today, which is great because my grass that I've been working with all summer is now brown and it's awful. So very thankful to get some of that uh, supplement going here. So, but hope you all have been well. It's been weeks, I feel like, since I've been able to sit down and do any content. Things have been busy. I'm going to talk about that in a moment here. But prior to doing that, ironically enough, the last guest that was on Let's Set the Tone is also going to be here to chat about all things when it comes to Savage Crucible right now, especially some of the releases. And we're going to talk about Superman and Fantastic Four. Kind of try and keep those spoiler free, of course, because I know there's still people out there that haven't seen Superman. But very excited to once again have my good pal Jeff of Dungeons. Hello, Jehovah.
Hey, what's going on, Tone?
Not much to do, dude. I appreciate you jumping on with me here today. Now, I know that the last episode, again, like I said, of Let's Set the Tone was a great conversation. You and I feel like had some good stuff to talk about. Went kind of long in the tooth in some ways, but I think that was great because I learned a lot about you, and I love using that as also a platform to learn more about my friends. And there was a lot of great stuff in there, and I got to tell you, and I know I was just talking about it beforehand, the diabolicalness and how people reacted to you using your hands to eat for most things was pretty incredible. I remember almost in tears over some of that. But no, thank you for being back, man. I appreciate you.
Oh, of course. It's always fun getting to talk to with you.
Yeah. So, and I know we want to, and we'll talk probably more a little bit this towards the end, but hopefully us doing stuff together can be a little bit more consistent. We want to be able to sit around and talk bullshit. I mean, these hangouts are a great platform for me to do that with a lot of people, but I know me and you got some other things down the pipeline, hopefully too. So, but other than that, just to kind of jump in, what have you been up to? What's been going on? I know it's been a couple weeks since you were up this way and we're hanging out, but anything new in your life right now? Anything fun and exciting?
So, I just got promoted at work. I now work 60 hours a week, crying myself to sleep every night
Yeah.
because when you're working 12-hour, 13-hour days, not a whole lot of time left for content creation,
Anything.
God, I don't know how Drastin does it because, like, just Mondays, like, my Mondays this last week started at 5 a.m. and it didn't end till midnight, and there was no break in between. By the time I got home, got my setup going, opened up the couple of action figures that came in, it was time to roll.
Dang. Yeah, that's not something that I certainly envy. I mean, and just judging, and well, first of all, congratulations on the
Thank you.
promotion. That's
Yeah.
really exciting. I know you work hard, clearly, if you're putting in that kind of time. But, um, yeah, I don't know how folks can do that. And just knowing from everything you've told me about the things that you do, I can tell that it's a lot on your plate. But hey, I mean, that sometimes is that how that progression works, right? You got to put in the grind and the time, and then go from there, and hopefully continue that rise. So
Right. Absolutely. Now, once we hire my replacement, like I'll drop that back down to like a 45-50 hour work week. It's
Gotcha.
just
Good.
that,
So that's kind of part of it. Okay.
yeah.
Cool. 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 Well, yeah. So for me around here, since you've been here a couple weeks ago, it's just been a whirlwind of things. I felt like there was a lot of things I was doing prepping for your arrival. Because I knew the weekend after last weekend, I had other arrivals. So there's just been a lot going on. There's been all kinds of things in the world around us. Work for me has picked up exponentially. Like I'm putting in right now, not 60 hours a week, but I've been working late pretty much every day that I can. Just some new things going on. So just trying to, I'll probably actually, when we're done with this today for lit, probably pop on the computer, do a little bit of work. But, you know, I look at it as, I work from home. Like it's easy stuff. It is what it is. So it doesn't bother me to do those sort of things. I like my job. Right. So, but anyways, outside of work, doing the outside, getting the fire pit's finally mostly done. There's just little pieces we want to finish off on it, but it's functional. It looks good. We were able to use it last weekend because last weekend, so when you were here, we were hanging out, watching movies, going to movies, things in that nature, and having a good time. And then the following weekend was my annual roommate. The old roommates come and get together here, and a little out of hand. I'll tell you. Last night I actually did not drink. It's the first Friday night I have not drinking in probably months. Normally Friday nights like to crack a couple Celsius or something, and I did not last night because I'm like, I don't know if I'm still ready to drink anything yet.
I've been there before.
Telling you, like, so Saturday, well, Friday, a couple of guys arrived and we drank a little bit. I drank some Celsius that night. I think a bunch of Nooners actually, and we got a pretty good buzz on. But then we got up early, went to breakfast, and then by 11 o'clock we were outside drinking. And I drank till from 11 ish, 10:30, 11 a.m. till about midnight 30s when I stopped. I constantly was just drinking. Oh my
I
god,
haven't drank like that in literally like years. I'm a very social drinker.
yeah,
Or two, like it takes about 6 or 7 to get me to the point of tipsy. Like 7 adult beverages, I start buzzing.
right,
But
right.
yeah, like I can't drink like that anymore.
Yeah, you kind of hinted to that too when you were here. Because I'm, on the weekends, like it's kind of a free for all. I kind of like to have some, beverages, but um, yeah, I I just went way harder in the paint than I have in a while, and usually when we get together, that's when I do that. My problem is I should have stuck with the Miller Genuine Draft with the MGDs
Oh
because when
yeah.
I started getting into the craft beers and all the stuff in them, the higher ABV, I think that's when it kind of like fucked my longevity on it. So I was doing Nooners and like MGDs early on and then switched to craft. And that was probably not the best idea. And I think that's what also affected my hangover for 2 days nearly. So, it felt like it. I was just tired, but anyways, yeah, that was a good time. So, and now we're here this weekend. It's kind of a long week, but we're at least able to arrive here. But either way, so, well, last time you were up, we were able to go see a movie that had just dropped. Matter of fact, you came for the release day one of the new Superman movie, and we want to talk about that. I know we wanted to talk about that a couple weeks ago, but just time hasn't been kind for us, and I would rather wish we could have had time to put together a roundtable, but there's still a lot of people in our main circles honestly haven't seen it. Dude hasn't seen it. Draston hasn't seen it, so
Mike
it's kind
hasn't
of,
seen either of them yet,
yeah,
so I
so
mean, yeah,
that's very much so limited our ability to do that. So, um, but also Saturdays sometimes can be tough for people too. So,
yeah.
um, but let's start there. So, James Gunn finally, I mean, he's already kind of kicked off his version of the DCU, but
Right.
his new DCU, but Superman was the big one, right? Because I feel like for a lot of people, I mean, Batman can exist in Batman world and be Batman in Gotham, and that's it. Whereas Superman definitely, I feel like, leans into a pantheon of people around him. But it's also for a lot of people a big tie to what DC is represents. So um, I think with some of the initial trailers, as somebody who's not really usually a big Superman fan, uh, I was like, okay, color palette feels comic booky. That's exciting. So I know going into this, I was actually really excited, but I remember about a week talking about it. You didn't? Did you not watch any trailers leading up to that? There was something.
So I watched trailers, but anytime something would come across my social media, especially TikTok, because TikTok is
Mm-hmm.
freaking super good about spoiling anything.
Yeah,
Anything other than official DC trailers, I skipped. Like anytime they would show set photos or anything, I kept moving, and that's
that's what it was.
because for me, like you have the Christopher Reeve Superman, you have
Yeah,
the Brandon Ross Superman Returns, and then you have Henry Cavill Superman, and those are like you've got the TV actors too. Don't get me wrong, but like for those big screen, because that's where Superman shines, other than comic books, is in that long form storytelling.
right.
He's not a half hour easily digestible character,
That's
especially
true.
if you want to relate to him, because being a space alien makes him instantly harder to relate to than
Correct.
Batman. If I give you $6 billion and 10 years to train, you can be Batman, but you're never going to be Superman.
All right, that's a really good point too, and I think that's probably what it is for me. That's it right there. Is that Superman's just not a relatable character to me. So yeah, no. I guess now that we've seen the movie, tell me, I guess, what you thought, like, however you want to take it, but like, if you want to share your overall, and like I said, we're going to try to keep the spoiler free as best we can. I know Superman's a little bit different. It's been out for a couple weeks. So,
Right.
some things might slide and that's perfectly fine, but give me your thoughts, lay it all out.
Absolutely. So let's be honest. Nobody gave a shit about Star Lord or the Guardians of the Galaxy prior to 2011. You had to be a true Marvel fanboy, like
Mm-hmm.
in the comics, to appreciate the Guardians of the Galaxy. And now James Gunn has turned them into like the secondary tier Marvel franchise players. Like,
Mm-hmm.
everybody knows who Drax and Star Lord and Gamora are now. You know what I mean? And so it's really interesting to me because I'm hearing a lot of people hating on Superman, but that movie to me was the most comic accurate Superman that we've gotten so far. Like, he's idealized, he's hope, but he's also flawed. Like, I mean, you and I talked about the political intrigue in it, and a lot of people are hating on that, but I thought it was great because even though, Superman can do something doesn't mean that he should.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he has to weigh in on that, and his mind and his conscience changes over the course
Mm-hmm.
of the film,
Public
like,
opinion.
yeah, absolutely. Like, it was just great to watch him actually interact with humanity, not separate from it, which I think
Right.
is one of the things that always seems to happen with Superman. I mean, Cavill did a great job at giving us a very mature, very dark, very Batman world friendly Superman. But when we watched Superman, it was like watching the PG version of Peacemaker. Peacemaker season one and Superman exist in the same universe in my head. Like they could. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what Gunn's plans are for Peacemaker season two to reconcile that, but like tonally, even though there's no swearing, there's no like ultra violence, the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, and Superman feel like they could exist in the same world, which is something that Marvel was really, really good at in the MCU, and the DCEU never got to. But I think with James Gunn doing for DC what uh,
Yeah.
Kevin Feige's done for Marvel, we're gonna see that kind of big production all the way through to like what we got with Avengers Endgame.
Right, and so, like, I do want to point out, remember, Peacemaker was in Superman. That's a fine spoiler,
Yes,
but some of the characters cross from the Superman movie into the new Peacemaker season. I don't know if you know that.
I did.
So they
Yeah,
are
I've
okay.
watched the
So they
trailer.
technically are in the same universe now. That is so. I guess that's the plan. I guess so.
Right.
But
It's just a matter of how they reconcile the DCEU versus the DCU.
oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah, and they'll probably have to address that in Peacemaker, right? I'm assuming.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So
James Gunn does not like to leave loose threads. I mean, Guardians 3 was a very satisfying conclusion, and everything that he's done has been a very satisfying conclusion. So,
right, 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 right. Um, So far as Superman the movie overall, you seem like a big fan. I like how you talk about, because for me, like my perspective of it, felt very like comic booky, and what limited comics that I read of Superman, it felt like that, and maybe it was partly because of the color palette. Excuse me. Um, what was do you feel like the biggest defining moment, and it's probably hard to do when you're trying to be spoiler free, but like, was there something that sticks out to your mind when you were watching that you were like, man, that is it, that is exactly like how quick was it that you realized that you were in for an actual good Superman story finally that we should have.
Um, Absolutely. So, it actually happens, and this will be spoiler free for anybody that's seen the trailers. It happens during the kaiju battle because while the Justice Gang is worried about saving humans,
Hmm.
Superman's flying around saving squirrels and dogs. And
Hmm.
so, like, to me, like, that was it's interesting because it's not a very action packed scene. It's not very dramatic, but it's very Superman.
Right.
He knows that all the humans are going to worry about the humans, and so he's you know like taking worse hits than the Justice Gang is to save creatures that we wouldn't go out of our way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you'll save
Right.
your dog, but you're not saving mine. You know what I mean?
Right. Sure. And like I feel like, because the other night when we went and saw Fantastic Four, that actually came up in conversation because there's apparently James, in some of the the early testings of the movie or whatever, that didn't test well with the audiences. Was that specific? Like, why is he saving a squirrel in the middle of a fight, kind of thing? And he took it out, and then he said he watched it again. He's like, he just couldn't. He couldn't. He said he needed it. He's just like, it felt right, kind of thing. And
Yep.
I agree with that because like that's kind of what separates him from other superheroes or whoever, even in that universe. Like Batman does a lot of good, it's dark and gritty, but like he wouldn't in the middle of the fight even think twice probably about a squirrel. But somebody like Superman, because Superman's like the Optimus Prime kind of like figure to me, like this completely like holistic, powerful, good guy icon. Because to me, I could see Optimus Prime doing that too, right? So,
Right.
like for me, like it just kind of makes sense that Superman would did that. So I'm glad he left it in there because that was a great part because it was like it just felt right, right? So,
Yeah. Absolutely.
um, but
And
yeah,
then
so
another thing that I absolutely loved about the Superman movie, I'm sorry to cut you
you're
off,
you're good,
is the first 30 seconds of the movie uh, tells you all the backstory for the
that you
entire
need. Yep.
universe.
Mhm.
There is no flashbacks, there's no origin story. They walk in knowing that everybody knows the basics
Right.
of Superman. Here's Lex Luthor, here's Lois Lane, here's Kryptonite, here's Crypto the Superdog. Crash lands on Earth.
Yep.
Parents sent him here because Krypton died. Like, everybody knows that. If you're 5 years old in the United States of America, you know Superman's origin story, just like you know Captain America's. And
Hmm.
so the fact that you go into a 2 hour long movie and you don't have to be hit with the same origin story that they've already given us in either TV shows, movies, and comics, like 2 dozen times over the last 30 years. It was
Right.
refreshing.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that as well too. And um, I don't know. Clearly going into it, I was curious. I'm like, how were they going to tackle that specifically? Because anytime you jump in without those backgrounds, you got to figure out either a good or a clever way to do it. And uh, I'm just like kind of like Spider-Man on the MCU side. Like, you don't need a ton of like all the background. We know the spider bites and he becomes Spider-Man, right? We know Superman's getting shot here in a rocket, so, and being taken care of by excuse me, parents in Kansas City or Kansas. So um but so for me, like, I going into it, I was excited and very open-minded because I hate to continue to say this, but I just don't usually care a lot about DC products unless it's Batman, Doomsday, maybe Lobo could be one I can throw out there a little bit too. But like other than that, like a lot of that doesn't interest me. I take that back. The Green Lantern stuff always interests me. I just don't know enough about it except for some of the big ones and the main ones. And that's part of the reason why I feel like for me, this is a Guy Gardner movie and Superman was just a supporting cast member. Uh,
Oh no,
I
no, it's a Mr. Terrific movie, and Superman
yeah,
was the supporting cast member. Remember? Yeah,
that's fair too. Guy Gardner, Nathan Fillion stole the show completely for me. I'm a huge Nathan Fillion fan. If that's never ever been said out loud around here, I love Firefly. Anything he does, interview, small character stuff, large character stuff. I'm a super fan of the guy. So when he got cast as Guy Gardner, instantly I'm like, motherfucker, this is brilliant. This is like perfect for him. Just as a character in that sense, and he definitely delivered when they first showed up. It was beautiful for me, and he knocked it out of the park. But uh, other than that, yes, of course, Mr. Perfect was terrific in the movie. So much that a lot of people were like, "We need more of him. We want more of him." And apparently, he has signed a multi-project deal with them, so we're probably going to see Solo or some more of him, hopefully. Which is awesome. So he did a great job, and
yeah.
that
I
role's a great character.
that's the thing is like what this movie got right for me is the same thing that MCU movies really got right for the first three phases, which was yes, this is a Superman movie, but if you're going to introduce the secondary characters, make them have value.
Hmm.
Pepper Potts had value in Iron Man in the Iron Man series. Rhodey had value, and they've continued to build on those characters
Right.
past, you know, Endgame. Like even with Iron Man gone now, they are still building off of that legacy,
Yeah.
and this gives me hope that DC now with Warner Brothers has brought in somebody that can point them in that direction too.
Yeah, and that's what they needed because with the DCEU, they were trying to replicate the success of the MCU in a 3-year time period. They were trying to push it out,
Right,
shove it out, and it's like you can't do that. You got to sit back, you got to take time, you got to plan a little bit. And while MCU maybe has not been the most ideal in the last few phases from start, as somebody who just watched Iron Man and Iron Man 2 again, it is noticeable, and me minus Robert Downey Jr., it is a little bit noticeable, and that's fine because I still enjoy a lot of like even the not so popular products of the D plus series stuff, but the DC franchise needed somebody like James Gunn who can be a fan, who can come in and kind of replicate some properly of that MCU feel. So, like you said, like somebody, I don't know if it was, man, I don't really know who said it. I swear I either read it or somebody around me said it, but so because I want to give credit where credit is due, but they said the Superman movie gave off like Dark Knight vibes where Superman, it was his movie and his name. He was almost sometimes second fiddle to other characters, which is brilliant, and I love that. If the story is told well, you can do that. Nick Holt as Lex, I don't feel like a lot of people are talking about that. At least not the people that I'm around. I'm a big Nick Holt fan. I thought he was great in that role. Like, whether he's everybody's what they wanted from a Lex. He really put a lot, and he does. He always puts himself way hard. He goes hard in the paint when it comes to his
right,
acting, in my opinion.
absolutely.
And
Like
he was
Nicholas Holt, I
awesome.
was I was sad when he did not get the Batman. I'm gonna be honest. Like Robert Pattinson did a good job. Don't get me wrong, but like I wanted Nicholas Holt to be Batman.
Did you?
You
Okay.
know, yeah,
Okay.
I did. Like I am a
That's fair.
huge fan.
Yeah, he's great, man. He's
Yeah,
he's fantastic. So I thought that was a great highlight. There was a lot of things going on in that. It felt there was a lot at stake in Metropolis at one point, and from different angles and around the world, and it really um it felt like it. Like sometimes I know it's hard to stick the landing when it comes to villains because you got to have the hero save the day or this, that, and the other. But there really felt like some big things were at stake in this film, and that's good because you don't want to not stick the landing on your first big outing of one of your biggest names in your entire franchise there. So
right.
um but no, super fan. So it sounds like I know we're both big fans, but I guess was there something that you can point out that you also feel like is a good criticism for it, something you didn't like about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that I did not like is where we meet Metamorpho. I did not like the place where we meet him.
Okay.
I felt like that was not it was too big and it was rushed introduction for a location and
Yeah.
the location winds up not mattering. So like there was it was so much, but then it turned out to be so little by
Mm,
the end of the movie. And I hope that's
right.
pretty spoiler free until people
Yeah.
see it. But yeah,
Yeah.
like big criticism because like where are all those people and where are they now and how did
Yeah.
they get there?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because once things started going, yeah, you're right. I guess because at the end we see a few people get out, right? Like I
right.
think,
Yeah, yeah. We
but we
see
don't.
we see the named people get out, but
Yeah.
all of those background characters and some of the ones that I pointed out to you, we don't
Yeah.
know what happened with them.
That's right. They're right.
Yeah,
The monkeys got out. Well, that
yeah,
at least the monkeys. At least the monkeys got. At least the
right.
monkeys got out.
Hey,
Um.
there's monkeys.
That's very funny. Yes, they are. I don't know like anything particular I can think of that I got a criticism for. I feel like again with me when it comes to this, like I don't have enough at like knowledge at stake that even just being a movie, like I just feel like all the acts were done well. Like I was trying to think, I'm like, what didn't I really like in the movie? There really isn't anything big enough or particular for me to pick apart like I normally can that I feel like I didn't like. I'm sure there's something if I really thought hard about it, but like I was thinking earlier, I'm like, there really wasn't. Like I really enjoyed the movie to the point where like Britt made me on the Sunday after
Yes,
take her back to see it again because she really
right.
wanted to see it again, which doesn't always happen. She probably just wanted popcorn partly anyways. But I was like, I used to go see all the MCU movies twice, so
Right.
but then times get tough and you don't do that anymore. But so I was on board anyways, whatever to get a brain freeze in my frozen drink. But even seeing it the second time, I was just like, man, this is just a really enjoyable movie. Like I really, really, really enjoyed it. So um,
There
yeah.
was this Quentin Tarantino statement that he made that there are so few perfect movies. And listen, I'm not saying that Superman was mind blowing. It didn't have the scope of an Infinity War or an Endgame, but cinematically speaking, it is a perfect movie. It is a Reservoir Dogs. It is a Princess Bride. It is a Conan the Barbarian. It is one where, like, when you sit down, what you need to get out of the film
Mm-hmm.
to have a satisfying cinema experience is what you get. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's really weird because there's been like maybe four people I know that have seen Superman and not liked it. And when they talk about it from real world perspectives and like the political intrigue of Superman. And it's really
Yeah.
weird because if you're going in there looking for that stuff, you're not going to enjoy cinema. Like and this was a good movie. It was a perfect movie from start to finish. Like I said, not on scale with Infinity War Endgame as
Right.
far as like, how you feel about like what's happening and the emotional investment, but it gets you to care about all the characters, including the antagonist, and it moves you through it.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
my conclusion.
That's a great perspective on that. Yeah, it's very enjoyable, start to finish. It's breezy in some ways because it kind of takes off and it goes like faster than the speeding bullet, one might even say, but it goes and it just goes
I
right.
knew one of us was going to get one of those jokes in there.
Right, we had to.
Right.
But no, I don't know, it's just a lot of fun and start to finish, like I know it's a 2 some hour movie, but like it didn't feel like that to me. Even the second time, like I didn't get bored. Like there's always something going on. And some people
Yeah.
don't always like that, but I think it's important again to come back and say kind of like what you're talking about. Sometimes that's why the MCU I think does well, and sometimes it's also why I think it fails at this point. MCU has always done a really good job, especially at the gate or at the gate, whatever. Feeling very like grounded, like it could exist in the real world, right?
Right.
It's almost like this underlying grittiness to it, and that's fine and dandy. That works. I like Cavill's Superman. It
Right.
feels very grounded, very gritty, and stuff like that. Um, but this we needed. I think sometimes we need this kind of like remembrance reset that these are based off comics. There's ridiculous things sometimes in comics, and they might not always translate great on screen, but sometimes you got to have it. And sometimes it kind of works. And specifically, something that's come up in a lot of conversations, at least with James Gunn and people, are the Superman trunks. Right?
Right.
I liked Cavill's look, but I think
Mhm.
we needed the trunks. I
Right.
think that I think that that's the right thing because it definitely at that point now you really feel like you're watching a comic book. a film. So color palette, everything just felt great. It just was just been a fun time. And if you haven't seen it yet, and if you have, go see it again. Like honestly, I can't wait for a home release because we'll probably watch it right away as well. So I'm
Oh yeah,
excited to see where James
absolutely.
Gunn's going to take him for sure.
Me too. Yeah, it makes
That's the
me
bottom line.
hopeful, which is what a Superman film should do.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
I love that. That's dang, look at you. All smooth and stuff. But yeah, so that's our feelings on Superman. Let us know in the comments what you think of Superman. I feel like it's been really positive by a lot of people, and I know not everybody has seen it, but let us know what some of your favorite things about it were, and hey, even let us know some of the criticisms because I think there is some fair criticisms out there. I think a lot of the criticisms are trying to compare it to Cavill's, and I think that's where you got to stop with that. Like, don't the Snyderverse folks like listen, man, we go through a different Batmans all the time. We can move on from that. It's perfectly fine. I will say I actually Brendan Roth, is that his name?
Rough. Yeah.
I think his movie gets more hate than it deserves, and that's my controversial hot take. I actually
Oh,
don't
oh my god! Other than who plays Lex Luthor, I totally agree with you.
yeah. Well at the time I kind of like him playing Lex
Right.
Luthor, but yeah, fair enough. All right, so moving on to the next one. So we've been very fortunate. It's the summer of comic movies, I feel like. And we also got a Marvel movie that dropped this week, and that was the highly anticipated Fantastic Four First Steps dropped Wednesday, or it was this week. And first of all, it's the highest rated Fantastic Four of all time, which I don't feel is a high benchmark, but you know, either way, I know there's
Right.
been a lot. The first family, right, as they call it now,
Yep.
that's a lot of people's favorites because the longevity of the characters, and they've never been properly handled at all by Fox. Fox, fuck Fox, anyways, when it comes to their Marvel franchises,
Whoa,
mostly.
whoa, whoa! You're saying that, but they gave us Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart. I mean,
So that's where usually I say, however, we
oh
got Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart. There might be a couple other things in there as well
yeah,
too,
there's
but
a couple, but damn.
yeah, 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 yeah. No, no. But so we got Fantastic Four, and I know initially, like I was one of the people that was like, "Oh, Pedro Pascal, I love Pedro," but like as Reed, well, okay, we'll see. We go from there. So, movie came, and you and I have. I know there's not all of our crews and our friends have seen it, but um, what do you think? Like, I mean, was it worth the wait? Like, how do you stand on it? And like, let me hear it.
Yeah.
Let me hear it.
Okay.
Spoiler free, of
So
course, everybody.
yep,
Spoiler free. We're gonna do our
absolutely
best.
spoiler free. So I'm gonna say this. Okay. First of
Yes.
all, it is very much a Phase Four, Phase Five MCU movie where
Mhm.
somehow the style can take away from the substance. Like
Okay.
Eternals was a very stylistic movie and it
Mhm.
took away from the substance of the story.
Okay.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which is one of my more favorite Phase 4 and Phase 5 films, still the style kind of takes away from the story. And it happened with me with Fantastic Four. However, I will put the Fantastic Four up against the MCU, and I will say
Yeah.
that it still lands in the good half of the MCU
Okay.
for me. It was a good movie. The cast was great.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
really have no complaints about the casting whatsoever.
Okay.
I mean, there was a little bit of hate about who got cast to be Silver Surfer, but she's a phenomenal actress, Julia Garner. I've seen her in like 5 or 6 things now, and
Mhm.
she
She's
really
great.
knows how to emote even as a
Mhm.
CGI captured person. So
Yeah.
uh I this is great. I thought it was one of the better films that we've gotten in Phase 4 and Phase 5.
Okay. 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 Um. So I I really enjoyed this movie. I actually really liked the stylizedness of it, the '60s like vibe a lot. And I think the reason why, and I think this is the reason why they get it. And I correct me if I'm wrong, or we can um talk about it. But it almost just it felt like Fantastic Four because of it. I feel like because everybody has wanted that so bad. They wanted the first family done so bad. They wanted it done right. It almost feels like, and listen. I loved Krasinski as the fanfic We Got Real. So, um, but I I just man, there's something about that vibe was what really kind of drew me into it. It because like my first, and I'm not kidding when I say that, I'm talking little kid. Like I probably was 8. Some of the first introductions I had to comic books were through coloring books,
Okay.
and I still have my original coloring book around here too because I'm a psychopath and I hoard everything. This is like it's a Marvel. It's like X-Men and Fantastic Four like coloring book, and I'll never forget, like, looking at it and just kind of even then as an 8-year-old in the, like, early mid '80s going like, "This just looks, like, old," or whatever, like, I've seen coloring books that look better, right? Anyways, so in my head, they look like the 1994 movie a little bit, but in a '60s setting, right? Like, that more
Yeah.
kinda realistic. So, even though the characters looked a little bit different in that sense, I think the vibe just worked for it for me. So I say all that to say, before I catch myself getting too long winded on it, um, I felt like the movie was very fun. I felt like it hit kind of like Superman in that sense. Like it hit like it kicked off pretty fast. Like in their origin story, like we got it, and it was not something that, hey, we're all familiar with it again, right? They've had other movies and other stuff, like we don't need to go through that again. So that was, I appreciated how they did that. But um just instantly seeing the characters and the interaction, like, man, these guys got a lot of good chemistry together. Like this is all just working. Like they got Johnny and Ben's back and forth. Like, God, I fucking love their interactions. It felt like it should have felt like for me. And then of course seeing Pedro in the role, um more into it, and then later on in the movie when you started getting those Reed characteristics, I was like, this is working. This is working for me. Um, but overall, I felt like it could have gone a little bit longer, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. The
Okay.
2 hours flew pretty good.
Yeah.
It felt like they got right to it. It felt like we were going. And then of course we'll get into some criticism in a minute, but I really enjoyed it. There's some great criticism again we're going to talk about here, that I think is fair, but maybe it's because some of the last few ones in the phases, which again, I know I'm different from a lot of people. I end up liking a lot of the MCU movies more than most people because I still find the enjoyment in them. But I also can recognize a lot of like the critiques and the criticism at the very least. But this felt like a lot of fun to me. I just really, it felt like finally, like, to see Galactus on the big screen like that, to see that, like, that felt that I personally also needed that, right? So,
Right.
anyways, I enjoyed it a lot. I feel like I definitely enjoyed it more than a couple of people in my group that went, and probably some folks out there. But, um, if you had to say, like, as far as the enjoyment or whatever, like, what are some of your biggest criticisms that you feel like you can kind of dive into on that
Yeah,
you didn't like?
absolutely. So the problem is, and I imagine that if the DCEU or if the DCU goes as long as the MCU does, and they have such strong third act to their story, like phase one, two, and three was all the Infinity Saga. The multiverse saga has felt really, really choppy
Yeah,
and really, really hard to get to the point. Like we're only
yeah,
2 movies away from the end of the multiverse saga,
yeah.
maybe
I know.
3 or 4. Like, but we haven't even gotten an Avengers movie in there, or any big team up movie since. Like,
Yeah,
it took us 4 Avengers movies plus all the individual ones to get to the point where we got Endgame and the end of the Infinity Saga. The multiverse thing is just not built up. Well, the thing is like the Fantastic Four movie was a good movie.
yeah,
Unfortunately, though, the way MCU works, I some of the stuff they put into the Fantastic Four is giving away what's going to happen to them
hmm,
in Doomsday, in Secret Wars. And I don't want to go into my thoughts on that on live because that'll give away some of the stuff. But them name dropping all of their villains, with the
yeah,
exception of Doctor Doom, they name dropped all of them, and
hmm,
they're
yeah, yeah,
all great. They name drop all of them. You only see a couple of them on screen, but they name drop all of them, and it's like, okay, like you could have spaced some of that stuff out. We know the Fantastic Four, we know their origin. You did a good job of only giving us a 15-minute flashback to get their whole origin story knocked out. Why are you giving us all of this fantastic lore front loaded and already taken care of.
My guess is because they don't know where they're going to move with them after that. So I'm guessing, right, that they
Right,
want all these just kind of announced because those are going to be better blips on the radar and just kind of give more substance to the things they've been doing instead of where they're going to end up. I guess
right.
that's my thought on it because I think they want to just get them in there, and then I'm guessing like after this next saga, like how much are we really going to see the Fantastic Four, right? Like what are we
Exactly.
really going to get?
And that's the thing is I think the MCU knows how much we're going to see the Fantastic
Yeah,
Four
you're
until they
probably
did all
right.
this name dropping
Yeah, to get it out
to
there.
appease us. Exactly. So now all
Right.
that backlore's out. Yep.
Yeah. And
Because
shout out. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, no, go right ahead. Shout out. Yeah,
I was gonna
absolutely.
say shout out to Michigan area local here in my area, Paul Walter Hauser for playing a great mole man. He was he acts
So good.
he acts great in so many things. He does like even before I realized that he was from this area years ago now at this point.
Yeah.
Um I was always like, man, this guy's pretty funny, gnarly actor. And man, he did it again. Like he was great in this role. His levity, his bits, and everything was ridiculous. Like if you've watched Cobra Kai, he's Stingray in that. I think he's a fucking hilarious in that. But shout out to him, local guy here out there in Hollywood,
Ugh.
smashing it like that.
His
So
his interactions with Reed and Sue
fucking
made
A.
him so good. Like I was like, man, why did we have to jump straight to Galactus? Why couldn't we
We
actually
could have done more Mole Man. Yeah, if we're gonna get
Mole
bits
Man?
like that.
Exactly. I mean, can
Yeah,
you imagine? Like they made me want a prequel movie, which is great if they
yeah.
can go back and
Yeah.
deliver that after they get done with Doom's what is it? Doomsday and Secret
Secret
Wars?
within Secret Wars. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Doomsday and Secret Wars. Like, if they want to go back with this cast and give me the Mole Man prequel movie,
Yeah.
I'm here for it. Listen,
All right.
listen, Feige, I will pay double for those tickets. Like
Yeah.
it was you had me wanting more Mole Man.
And it's a bummer that they cut out John Malkovich as what's his
Red
name?
Ghost.
Red Ghost. Thank you. I
Yep.
was gonna say, kept wanting to say Red Guardian. Yeah, it's a shame they cut him out. It's John Malkovich, right? So, not even a little bit of a something something. So, yes, Cappadocian is right. He is in the new Naked Gun movie coming out too. If you've seen that fun trailer too, that's actually very rarely if it's gonna live up to the hype of Leslie Nielsen doing Naked Gun movies. But honestly, so far, like what I'm seeing, some potential there. So I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed. But
I think it's actually going to be a little bit more mature. That
oh,
this
I
new Naked Gun. I think it's going to be like you're still going to have your deadpan, but I think the humor be just a little more sophisticated.
yeah, and maybe that'll do right for it. But yeah, so I think as far as Fantastic Four, my criticisms kind of shadow some of like the dude 7-9 and Brit also kind of laying this one too. Um I didn't think about it right away at first because I was having such a good time seeing like big old fucking Galactus. They did a great job, like 3/4 of that movie in the first few acts, really building kind of the story, the tension, and hey, we got to figure out this issue. The problem is that the solving issue felt very rushed. So I can digress on that one. I think that's been some of the criticism, at least our crew has said. Like they're like, oh well, this is how we can figure out the problem. Let's do this thing, and then we don't have to worry about Galactus. And I feel like I see kind of the duality in that, or both, I guess, sides of the coin on that. Like, I do see, like, it felt like, oh, let's get everybody on board to do this was kind of rushed. Like, are we really going to be able to do that in just a couple of days? Like, timeline felt like it was moving kind of fast at that point. And then, you know, it just didn't seem like Reed is smart enough to figure that out, right? I think that's fair.
Yeah,
But after at that point, like, the whole, like, Galactus piece of it felt so super, like, rushed and quick. Like, I almost feel
yeah,
like they could have drawn some of that out more, because when Galactus finally arrives to Earth, which we all know we see in the trailers,
right.
it felt like a big old dumb kaiju we were dealing with instead of fucking Galactus in some ways. Like there wasn't enough fighting, honestly, and like it could have been more. Like I feel like even how they solved the problem which I didn't mind so much. Dude, definitely a huge fan, but I think that's because it felt like there could have been more time in there. And I do
Yeah,
kind of agree. I feel like if we got another 20 minutes to a half hour, I think
yep.
conclusions and the stuff that happened at the end would have made people a little bit more happy, like we nailed the landing. And I know for him, and I think even Britt, like it really didn't. And I was surprised to hear that at first because I think I was just so starry eyed again, like seeing Fantastic Four done well, Galactus on the big screen. But I've kind of agree with that at that point. At this point, the more I've had time to kind of cook on it, like I think those are great points. I'm satisfied with the movie we got, but I think like if they could have done just a little bit more, I think it would have been much better because they explain enough about Galactus, what he's doing. But I think like I think the audience that isn't familiar with these characters could have deserved a little bit more. Even Shalabal, like we got some of her, and I think it was enough. I don't think we needed much more from her necessarily. I think it was fine enough, but maybe how she like was part of the conclusion could have been like set up a little bit better. So I digress. That's how that's where a lot of the criticisms has fallen of the folks around me, and
But see,
I
I think
kind of I can
that
agree.
touches, and you and I did not speak on this at all. Like we
Right,
did not talk Fantastic Four before we hopped on the stream. But you look, I'm like, oh man, they rattled off all of these villains that the
right.
Fantastic Four's already encountered. Like they're them burning through their origin story for a quick 15 minutes was fine, but burning through 4 years of history, Fantastic Four history in their world, that it did. It felt very, very rushed. And then you got to their first solution for dealing with Galactus, and that took a good chunk of the movie between
Hmm.
exploring and what their first plan was to deal with Galactus.
Yeah.
And so it was like first act very, very quick. All the origin and all the build up to, discovering that Galactus is coming. First act very, very fast. Second act very, very well written,
Meaty, a lot of
drawn
good, cool
out.
stuff
Like,
going on. Yeah.
yep, absolutely. And like the fact that they showed Johnny being a hothead in Act Two when they're doing the discovery with Galactus and everything, and like even Reed warning him not to be a hothead, and he still does it. Like, it,
Right.
I mean, literally, Eddie Munson was the perfect casting for Johnny Storm. Like, literally,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Stranger Things, Eddie Munson. Like,
Took a second when you said that. I'm like, what?
yeah,
Yeah.
my
Took
bad.
me.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No,
Like I
you're
like
funny. No,
he
no, no. I get it. No,
he'll
that's funny.
always be late. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
so the
Yeah.
second
For
act
sure.
was perfect. I would have sat through
Yep.
another half hour to have them have the Mole Man interaction on screen or have some of the villains that they name dropped on screen.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
would have sat through another half hour. Like, and you've already made me do it with Infinity War and with Endgame, which were both worth it, and you had me do it with Eternals, which was not. Like, Eternals was a 2 hour and 25 runtime movie, and it felt like it should have been an hour and a half, and they should have cut half the exposition. And so it's funny that we have similar criticisms on this movie. Is like,
Hmm.
hey, you could have paced it a little bit better.
I think one of the next times we do a hangout, we should talk about Eternals because it's very controversial. I actually really like that movie.
But that's the thing is I don't think that's controversial that you like it at all because it's not a bad movie. It's a bad MCU movie.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah,
I think that'd be a fun one. We should rewatch and talk about that sometime. So
absolutely. Like
we're
we
gonna
could
mark
have a
that.
whole episode on
Yeah,
Eternal. Yeah,
deal.
absolutely.
We got another hangout in the bank in the future. So there we
Yep,
go. Perfect.
absolutely.
We're gonna talk about Eternals because I need to speak on that more. I feel like I feel like just
But
not
yeah,
enough people
this is in
understand
no
where we come
way
from.
me crapping on the Fantastic Four, by the way. Like it was still a good, enjoyable movie. It was still one of the better ones that we've gotten since Endgame. It just it did. It had some pacing issues,
Yeah.
especially when you had such a good cast, such a good location, such a good style to the film.
Hmm.
But sometimes that stylization, like I said, kind of took
Hmm.
away from some of the substance.
I think that's fair, and I agree with that. It definitely is. It's still an enjoyable movie. But I also feel like, and I say this all the time, it doesn't matter how much you love something. Nothing is ever perfect. Always room for improvement, criticism, or feedback or whatever it might be. Right. So for me, like it's good to have those kind of things. Now, if it's just blind hate and shit to hate shit, that ain't okay, right? Like you got to have
Right.
substance. That's the big piece of it. And sometimes there's things that I do and don't like or whatever that I recognize as a dumb reason, and I will usually say it out loud. But I will tell you, matter of fact, probably my biggest complaint and criticism of this movie specifically is one thing, and that is the fact I felt like Ben's voice needed to be more gravelly. I
Okay.
hate, I hate when people do voice acting of things that are not very human or not very conventional. Even then, that don't try to like your voice acting, like do a little bit of a voice, right? Do
Yeah.
something more.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's the Seth Rogen thing. Like, ever seen Paul? That's Seth Rogen,
Yeah.
not an alien to me. Ever see
Right.
Sausage?
Yeah.
Seth Rogen has no ability to do a voice or to like adapt to the character he's playing. And even like Chris Pratt, I was definitely
Oh
prior to
God,
Mario
Super
doing the voice of
Mario. That was,
Mario.
yep, it's the first one
Him
that popped in
doing
my head.
it
Yep.
him doing it was still not good enough. Like,
Right.
you need to like step into that role, and that always drives me nuts when you don't to feel like that's again why I watch my anime subtitled in Japanese, because Americans in English dubbed can't convey that emotion properly for some fucking reason. It drives me insane. But now if you're Mark Hamill or Kevin Conroy, you certainly can. So be more Kevin's, be more Mark Hamill's. That's all I'm saying. Voice actors. I'm the
Is,
expert now.
is it okay if I say one thing that it shouldn't be a spoiler for Fantastic Four?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Hey,
It
you're
should
in
not
you're
be
in
a
you're in the
spoiler,
co-pilot,
everybody.
so go ahead. Go ahead.
So when I thought of Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, I initially didn't have a buy into it either, right? But like we got about like a third into the movie, and he really started showing that like Reed Richards' efficiency was solving a problem
Mhm.
versus like morally solving a problem.
Yes.
And the second that happened, I was like, why am I getting screwed out of a universe where his Doctor Doom is not being played by Nicolas Cage? Like I was just like, I want to see it. I no, I
uh,
mean you're laughing, but like the way they interacted in the weight of unbearable talent, like I want to see that now. Like I want to see two actors of that caliber like
yeah.
doing Reed Richards and Doctor Doom together.
That's I appreciate that thought process, as you know. So yeah, I would love to. Let's go, Reed. Um
Exactly.
Pork chop. Hey buddy, Eternals was horrible, brought nothing to the MCU. I can say at the very least it didn't bring a lot to the MCU, but again, we're gonna bust that open in a
Yeah,
conversation. Maybe we should even
absolutely.
consider getting Mike, the hater of Eternals, on to counterpoint some of the conversation we'll have. Maybe we can
Yeah.
do that. So because definitely I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I think as a movie I really really enjoyed it, and as a history major at one point in my life, I think that's part of the reason why. But I just don't think it wasn't explained well enough for people to get it. And again, I also think marketing plays a point in that, but I'm not gonna.
MCU pacing in Phase 4, Phase 5. It's
Yeah.
a recurring theme.
Yep. So, yep, I agree. Well,
But
awesome. Hey, we got one in the bank though. We're gonna talk about Eternal
yeah,
sometime. You guys watch out for that, because I think that could be a conversation, and maybe we can, like I said, get Mike involved as well too. So,
but
um,
one of the good things that I have to say about Fantastic Four is it went back to the MCU doing a really good formula, which is an Iron Man movie is an Iron Man movie versus an Ant Man movie is an Ant Man movie versus a Doctor Strange movie is a Doctor Strange movie. They can all exist in the same universe, but they don't exist in the same uh, presence of mind. You know what I mean? Like
correct.
they don't live existence the same way. Like the last Ant Man and the Wasp, Quantum Mania did not
Mhm.
feel like an Ant Man movie. It felt like an Avengers movie with the Ant Man family. It wasn't a heist movie. It wasn't
Right.
about Scott Lang being like really really clever while also not being particularly wise. You
Hmm.
know, it didn't feel like an Ant Man movie. This felt like a Fantastic Four movie that just happens to take place in the Marvel multiverse.
Yeah,
So
that's yeah, I like how you put that. And honestly, like outside of Quantum Mania's sometimes questionable CGI, which I think it's hard when you're in the quantum realm. I don't know what else people would expect but blue screen, but I
right,
definitely digress on some of that. The best storyline in there that I want more of and I want a prequel to is how the ants over time got smarter and the stuff that when he came and said the ants did all this stuff, I'm like,
Yep.
I'd rather see that right now than all the Kang stuff. And I was
Right.
enjoying the Kang stuff. I'm like, I want that storyline. Like, tell me about the ants. I want more. Give me more on that, right?
More daring.
Yeah, right. Um, Awesome. So yeah, if you've seen Fantastic Four, please leave some comments down there. Let us know what you think about it. If you've got some criticism as well, to share all it. If you don't agree or do agree, it's all fair game, honestly, for sure. So, but Jeff, I have to start this out with, God damn you,
Okay.
as if I don't spend enough money on my collection around here,
Okay.
you one day put a figure in my hand, and I touched this figure, and I would think I was instantly starry eyed hooked on Savage Crucible, because you were like, you got, have you? Because I think you presented to me as, have you ever seen or held or played with a Savage Crucible figure? And I was like, no, nah, I don't think I have. And
Right.
you're like, okay, here, and you put it in my hand. And now that it's in my hand, I think I've started a small new obsession. So, while I say "God damn you," I also say thank you, because now I have something that I sat here for a couple hours last night just fucking around and playing with. So,
And I was
Savage
also playing with
Crucible,
mine.
and you were off. Yeah, we were definitely playing with ourselves long distance, because we were also messaging ourselves over it, because some of us were partying a little bit last night. But either way, no. So Savage Crucible, and I know, and I guess, let me start here. When and how did you come across Savage Crucible? Because for me, I feel like it's always been like something I rarely heard of. It's just kind of here or there. But like, when did you kind of come across them? Were you kind of like right at the get?
Yeah, so unfortunately I didn't have a job that let me back the Kickstarter at the time of the Kickstarter, but I've been aware of them since their Kickstarter went live. Rob and his amazing team over there at Harbinger Studios, they actually started with Mythic Legions figures, which I've got a Mythic Legion right here, right? They started a company called My Action Figure Customs, and they would make custom heads for these guys, custom chest plates, custom pauldrons, custom weapons, and
All of
My
it, yeah.
Action Figure Customs was amazing. And they did things like backpacks that would actually hold the swords and real
Right.
sheaths and stuff like that. And they really helped the Mythic Legion game kind of step up for customizers. And when they announced Savage Crucible, like Wave 2, which is what you currently have, a Wave 2 figure in hand, and then you also have one Wave 1 figure in hand. Uh, when they announced them, it was like Wave 1's going to be these lizard people, which is a very, like, you and I were talking John Carter of Mars. Like, lizard people is sci fi, it's medieval fantasy,
Mm-hmm.
but nobody has been doing them in action figure form, like, at all. And so like they were like, hey, here's a whole bunch of lid men and the lore behind them. Wave 2 is going to be humans, and then Therians, which you're holding a Therian in your hand, which we'll get to in a minute. And then Wave 3 is going to be fish people and the Harbinger of the Abyss, which is this evil cult leader. And yeah, Tone is also ready for the Harbinger of the Abyss. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so I got in on them right away. I couldn't afford to get into the Kickstarter, so as soon as they went live on Big Bad, because Big Bad will let you pre-order without paying, I was like, okay, I can now budget for
Right.
the year that it's going to take for the Wave One figures to produce. And so I went in, I locked down two of every figure because they had done such a good job of showing us the customizing when they did the Kickstarter. And so I was like, I'm going to want at least two of every figure so that I can keep one as the
Which
character
is
they are.
smart, by the way.
Yeah,
Very smart.
absolutely. And that's how I did Wave 2 as well. So, like, you're having to decide which head you're going to use on Jaeger. Are you going to make him Jaeger, or are you going to make him Caldor out of the accessory pack? I don't have to worry about that because I got two Jaeger.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's why. As soon as you show me that too, I was like, oh, because I last night, one of the thoughts that come through is I'm sitting here playing with him. I'm like, man, it would be cool to have a second one, but
Mm-hmm.
what are you gonna do? It's pretty awesome. So, yeah, so did you say so? Harbinger Studios had a hand in Mythic Legions?
No, they so Four Horsemen Studios has been really, really good about
Hmm.
letting customizers sell custom parts without like any sort of copyright. So like as
Okay.
long as you're not making their character heads, but you're making your own new original characters, you can sell that character's heads, that character's pauldrons. There's some joint areas in a Mythic Legions figure that you cannot reduce for obvious reasons, but
Yeah.
like, you can do stylistic pieces for them. And so Rob over there at Harbinger Studios, like he's got a great eye for talent. He has one of my favorite action figure customizers on his painting team. Got a great sculpting team. He's got a great writing team. And so he had all these guys working with him for customs. And then when I discovered the figures right before the Kickstarter popped off at the last PowerCon that was held here in Ohio, and I got to meet him at the table, and he was passionate about what he was talking about. It was like, okay, like I was mildly aware of them because of the custom pieces, but like
Yeah.
I became an advocate for them once I
Hmm.
saw them at PowerCon because
Hmm.
real quick, no shade to any other companies, right? But these spheres are the same retail price, right? These two figures are the same retail price. This is a real chain, ball and chain weapon. It's not only double jointed, as you know, because you've got it, but like you can pop off the forearm and change that out. You can change out just the elbow. You can change the torso from the waist. Like this thing can be pulled into like more pieces than even a four horseman figure, and it's the same price as a four horseman figure. And then meanwhile, you get super sculpted details. So like this is a Conan Icon Collectibles. I love this figure. I paid international shipping during tariff season for this figure.
Oh,
But
jeez.
retail, this figure is $75 or $80. This figure, this Savage Crucible figure is 54 because it's a
Hmm.
deluxe figure.
Hmm.
And it
Yeah.
includes premium soft goods and includes the licensing agreement. So I don't know how they're doing it, but they're just doing such a great service to medieval fantasy fans. And like you and I talked about our right after we went offline with Let's Set the Tone, which I wish I could have said it when it was the epiphany moment. What Savage Crucible is doing with these figures is they're not giving me a He-Man and the Masters of the Universe figure. They're giving me the same joy that I had when I was a kid and I was opening that first He-Man.
Hmm.
Like they're
Hmm.
giving me something new to explore, a new world, a world that can still be anything that my still 8-year-old brain wants it to be. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, and so that's the thing is a lot of people get caught up, whether it's movies, music, or whatever. They get caught up in the this isn't what it was before. Well, no, you're not chasing the same. You're chasing the same feeling, and so
Right.
these give me the same feeling that I had as a kid opening up Motu, as a teenager opening up McFarlane's medieval Spawns figures. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
Yeah. Oh,
I,
yeah.
it's that same tactile, intangible that you got as a kid, you got as a teenager. Now, you know, Harbinger Studios is giving it to me as a 40-year-old man. You know, so.
They're like you kind of nailed it too. Like pricing wise for the goodies I'm getting in my figures, the soft goods
Mm-hmm,
I'm getting, and secret weapons, and
mm-hmm.
I'm getting this
Secret
for
weapon,
like
yeah.
the same price some as some crazy Marvel Legends where you don't get as much. They're like it's crazy that these are just how so highly detailed, articulated, just everything about them. Like it blows my mind. And like I was telling you last night when I'm sitting here and I'm playing, I was literally just playing and posing and just moving stuff around and doing stuff like that. Like when you talk about that joy again, and I think of my collection and the things I buy, like I've been leaning more Marvel Legends and on that side, and I've got as everybody knows, it's always a twisted love and hate for Hasbro, but I've dialed back so much on the Star Wars buying because like they've dropped the ball with that franchise, with the soft goods, with the articulation. There's a lot of things that I wish somebody else with like TLC would take over instead of giving me like just this soulless thing sometimes. So I say that because these do give that feeling. They do give that life. There's not a lot of fantasy stuff out there, and because I was also an MTO MOTU, Jesus, Motu. Do we say that like
Motu,
that
yeah,
sometimes?
Motu,
Motu.
yeah,
Since I was a big fan growing up and still in some way, but haven't collected any since the early 2000s, this has given me that feeling again, like you said. Like I didn't realize in this world of all these figures that I was missing medieval fantasy type of figures and shit, like you said, like it's like a new thing. So there's like new lore. So like I'm still trying to learn the lore. Like as I was sitting here last night when I was talking to you, I'm looking at the weapons, I'm looking at the lore. I'm like, second figure in, and I'm already like, okay, I need to be diving better. You know,
right.
so um so no, I love how you explain that like that because I think without me saying that originally, that's really what I think that's what it's done to me, and that's why I said, man, you got me hooked instantly on this. It just did.
Now
It just like opened up a fucking yeah, right there.
it,
So
it brought back little tiny 5-year-old Tone in your brain the first time you opened the Shield of Desaro. You had
yeah,
that
yeah,
that
yeah,
same sensation again. And that's the
yeah,
thing that I love about our fandoms and why I don't understand people in the fandoms being so worked up over, oh, it's not the same. It's like, no, that's not what you're chasing. You're chasing that buzz, you're chasing
right,
that high, that getting, the 1985 Sergeant Slaughter in your hands as a little kid because
yeah,
he's a GI Joe that's also a quote unquote real person. Like, yeah,
yeah,
those are the highs that we're all chasing, and it's like I'm fortunate that I get to live them, and I get to live them with a company that actually treats not only their fans but in particular me and 7D so well. I mean, we're giving away a figure right now that's going to be
yes,
going
you are.
the giveaway on Facebook. It's going to be going all the way until August 4th, I think, is the day. So on our August 4th stream, we're going to announce whoever the winner of that is live on the stream, and then I'm going to message them off of our Facebook page. But uh, you know, Savage Crucible's given us figures to give away. They've sent me extra stickers before in boxes, and
It's
they've just
awesome.
been really, really super to a lot of their fans. I had a replacement figure. I asked for a replacement joint for a figure that broke. They were like, "We're just going to send you the whole figure," and it's like, wow, like that that love and that trust that they're giving their fan base to just be like, here's a whole brand new figure. We're sorry this happened to you. Like, you don't get that nowadays. I
Yeah,
had a Hasbro that was broke, and I literally had to fight them tooth and nail, even though I bought it on their website, their Hasbro Pulse. That I had to fight them tooth and nail to get a replacement
that's
part.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
It's not surprising though either at that point, and I think that's it. I relate that somewhat to like the movie and the video game industry, right? It's these everybody's kind of getting burnt out and tired of the big heads doing the same old like soulless mass producing when you got little indie developers out there, small groups doing stuff, and they're doing it at a maybe a higher price sometimes, but your value is what is coming through, and the value isn't just money, it's the value of that. Again, it comes back to what it makes you feel. And
right.
that's where I'm at with this. Like I can't think of the last time that I opened up figures like this. Even the what was the other little one you brought me for to
Oh,
continue
the
our world
Boss
building?
Fight Studios. Yeah,
Like
your Boss Fight Studios.
dude,
Yeah,
like yeah, I got to look into those cuz I want to pick up more of those too. You know what I mean? So cuz they're going to be great for like some world building or whatever or customs. I think more than
yeah.
anything customs. Um but no, I'm the Savage Crucible has hooked me right away. I actually was it this week that they announced the pre-orders for the displays?
It was yesterday. Like they dropped it on us. They were like,
Yeah,
"Hey, here's your month-long pre-order window for either
yeah,
$25 or $10 action figure stands." And
yeah,
that's a pack of 4. And so like Eric and I were talking about it for my collection, what makes sense is I'm going to get 2 of the deluxe packs,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to get 5 of the $10 packs. So I'm going to spend $100, but I'm
Yep.
going to have uh like 56 display stands or whatever that is, and all the accessories to go with it.
I know. I was wondering if I should pick up at least one more deluxe because of the pieces, you know. So I still might yet too.
Yeah.
Um, because I just know like long term, like what's it gonna look like to me, you know? Because I'm already thinking like, okay, so the next wave gets announced. Should I be buying the whole wave? Probably, maybe. I don't know. But I gotta, you know, I don't know.
But
So
that, and that's the thing. That's what I love about like Savage Crucible is like they do like give you the option for a little bit cheaper when you pre-order the whole wave as one complete of
yeah,
everything, right? But like it doesn't feel as pressury as other companies do to
right.
release everything, which is insane to say because Wave 2 is already sold out on Big Bad Toy Store.
Yeah,
Like what Harbinger Studios and their few retailers that still have like onesies and twosies left of Wave 2. That's it. Like they're doing their live auction or their live in sale of Wave 2 on like August 2nd. And that's it. Like other than shows, they are not going to have any more stock of Wave 2. And so, guys, if you're checking this out and you like the Savage Crucible figures, like go ahead and pre-order Wave 3, and I at least the ones that you have to have. And that's the
hmm
thing is don't feel the pressure. Like I didn't feel the pressure to get 2 of everything. I got 2 of everything because I looked at the accessory pack and I was like, what
right,
is going to bring me joy?
right,
And
right.
so don't be afraid to pre-order whatever you think is going to actually bring you joy.
And Harbinger of the Abyss is part of Wave 3, right? No.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Harbinger of the Abyss, is that part of Wave 3?
Yes, it's him, and then it's the Paranoid Man, and so
Uh,
it's the Paranoid Man is once again like mer people, fish people is something that we get literary and visually in fantasy all the time, but nobody's ever willing to put those
right.
figures in our hands. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to debate because I wasn't able to pre-order Harbinger of the Abyss, was I?
I'm sorry.
Harbinger of the Abyss, I'm not able to pre-order that, right?
He hasn't. They have not gone up for pre-order on like Big Bad Toy Store or anything yet.
Okay.
They're in the middle of producing Wave 3, so like they're gonna open up that pre-order window
Okay.
for the retailers here soon.
Okay.
And
Outside of their website.
yeah, outside of
Gotcha.
their website, they've
Gotcha.
already done their website direct pre-order.
Gotcha.
Yep.
That's what it was. I was
And
confused.
so
Okay.
like me, what I did was Wave 2. I got a wave of it as direct pre-order, and
Mhm.
then I got a wave of it from Big Bad Toy
Right.
Store. And yeah, I could have just bought the second all in from uh, Harbinger Studios and saved a little bit of money, but like it's important that retailers know that these things are wanted too. You know what I mean?
Right.
Especially when they're as good of a company as Big Bad Toy Store. Like not that there's anything wrong with the smaller toy retailers out there either. Like pre-order from whatever retailer makes you happy, but that's one of the things is keeping the fandom alive is you got to make sure everybody's getting a little bit of that
hmm
love.
And I know Big Bad sometimes folks' criticism is that because they do get stuff late, you get stuff later. But I like it for budgeting, and I don't mind if I get a little bit later because of that. I can send it in my pile of loot, send it when I want. You know, like I said, I can budget and things of that nature. So I use Big Bad for most everything now. I do got Hasbro Pulse once in a while. They're going to get me down something today, probably as I'm sitting here complaining about pricing, but we'll talk about that in a moment. But I do want to show off. Let's do this real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna show off best like you got a better I think closer angle, but I do want to show off my I'm gonna flip this here in a second. I don't know why that's not working. Where did you go? There you are. Okay. And then so transition I'm gonna show. So that's how I don't know if you can see my probably not very well. I keep him very roguelike for my
Yeah, absolutely.
you know. It's not really giving good focus right now, I feel like though. I'm not close enough, but um I kept him very roguelike, and the weapons I opened were um, a couple of daggers, a pair of daggers, the Venom, is it Venomous?
Yeah, yeah. So there's fire, there's frost, there's like
Mhm.
earth and terra, which is purple, and then there's green, which is like venomous blades.
Yeah, so I got
Yeah.
some venom daggers I threw on him too. I took the big pauldrons off, and like I said, put the cape and the hood on him because, as a fan of being like, I love roguish characters clearly. So having them like this and just man is so great. And then of course, I can't wait to play more pieces because I got the conquest pack.
Yes.
Yes, so now I have because there's middle fingers in here, which is the piece I want the most. That's actually why I bought this pack. But also, there's a stumpy neck hood
Yeah.
too, which is
And so
fantastic.
you can
Yeah.
pop one of your extra shield Lumerian heads onto that
Yeah.
stump. And so then he can have decapitated one of the shields of Dazara, and the other shield of Dazara is now hunting him down for assassinating his brother.
Oh,
See?
man.
Like, look
Yeah,
at that.
man.
With just
Yeah.
one accessory pack and two figures, you have a
Right.
whole world built
I
around
do.
the characters. It's great.
I do. I do. It's awesome.
So I'm gonna
Jealous.
I'm gonna laugh at
I'm
you
ready.
here a little bit. What two tarot cards slash D&D cards did you get?
I figured we were gonna talk about that, and I want first
Okay.
I'm gonna put you on the main screen. Show us how you've got yours built again.
Yeah. So
Show us yours
I have
Jaeger.
two Jaegers. I have one with the traditional Jaeger head, like what
Yeah.
you've got on, but I've got the unhooded head on it.
Right.
And then here is a uh, Keldor head out of that Conquest accessory pack that you've got. And then I've got the War Horn, whereas you put the grappling hook out of the Conquest pack on him. I've got the War Horn, but he's got the big pauldrons. I really like those.
Yeah, they're cool.
And then he's
Yeah.
got his
There you go. Bring more.
spear, and I gave him the shield out of the Conquest pack, the spear and the shield out of the Conquest pack too.
Cool.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
put more in
I
the middle there. Yeah, there you go.
I wanted this version of him to be a hunter, like specifically like a big bounty hunter kind of
Yeah.
feel, like a werewolf man, Mandalorian, if you will.
Right. That's really
Yeah,
cool, man.
yeah.
That is so cool. God damn it, you make me mad that I don't get two now. Uh,
But that's the thing is, like I said, on August like 2nd, they're having their in stock sale for Wave 2, and I'm planning on picking up one more of everything. So let me know if you need a second Jaeger, and while I'm in the chat, I can work that out.
we'll keep close on that because it's possible. I might need to pick up some fodder for these guys though to fight because my goal here is with shield as well because since I got that other what is the magical weapon again the what is that called
Which one?
the magical swords.
Oh, the giveaway swords. Like
Yeah.
you
Is
got
it,
the those are the earthen weapons. So like if you go onto their website and go under their
yeah, the
checklist
Tolric.
and their lore, those all your blades are named. Like
Yeah, I
that's
see
how deep
that.
their lore is they're named. And I've
That's
got to tell
crazy.
you, I did not pull one dagger set out of 10 boxes that I've opened so far. So
I was
I'm a
surprised
little
you said
jelly.
that. Yeah,
But
surprised.
they're the rare weapons. But I mean, you saw my pulls. Like I got two other rare weapons. So
Yeah, you got the long one of this one here.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's it's really cool.
yeah.
But
I got
so
the
since he already
Como
pulled
sword.
the what is it called?
I got the Como sword from Wave One. I've got that in the purple, which is
Right.
supposed to be Earth, and then I got the Venom version of the Nin sword, which is the one that's got the snake head on it.
Yeah.
It's really really cool. So I was pretty happy with getting those two. Now for me, for my little where the Crucible fits in with my world that I'm building, the purple is not earthen. It is actually eldritch psychic
That's
kind
cool.
of
That's cool.
powers. Yeah, so that's what the purple blades mean in my world. It means like they're eldritch deal psychic dealing damage.
That's fucking cool. I think that's way cooler. I might borrow that. I'll ask you permission sometime soon on that probably.
Dude, everything's free. Any idea is free to give away. Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Good.
Uh,
I'm glad to hear that.
That's community once again. Like we
There
were
you
talking
go,
about
right?
earlier,
No
community.
gatekeeping. No
Yeah,
gatekeeping.
exactly.
I think I know. So I do got the link up here. If you can't see it, I will have it if you're checking this out in post. I'm gonna have the link in the description. But it is in the chat right now if you're out there live to go to the Facebook page and for Seven Dungeons, and make sure to get that hashtag out there, and get in that Savage Crucible giveaway. It's really exciting. You guys got a lot of folks. I saw the post yesterday. There was like 40 people that hashtagged that, so that's cool. And that's good. I think that that's a good way. It fits the Seven Dungeons, kind of community and vibe. Anyways, I
Right.
think this is and thanks to you, of course, to give them another
And
gateway and an outlet too. So
well, and that's the thing is like if they're gonna give me the figure, of course I'm gonna make the hashtag something that immediately kicks back to
yeah,
them and grows their brand. Like they're
yeah,
we're a very small D&D channel right now, or D&D focused channel, I should say, because we're
yeah.
growing and we're exploring other avenues. But we're a small channel, and for them to just be like, yeah, here, give away to your community. Like,
Crazy.
of course, I'm going to grow theirs too because I am their biggest cheerleader. Like,
You
I
are.
love them. They
Yep.
hire they hire amazing artists and painters. I mean, one of the guys that works for the studio is also in movies and does like actual movie prop production. Yeah,
Wild.
like it's amazing. The Savage
Wild.
Crucible Harbinger Studios story is amazing.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm hooked. I'm already a big fan. I like the things that they're doing. And they seem very community focused. And I think that's something we don't see enough of these days. So kudos to you, full circle here, from saying "God damn you" to, again, once again, thank you for getting me new, to give me also that feeling that sometimes I feel like I still kind of either don't have or forget. Like, I enjoy getting new stuff and things that I pick, open them up, playing with them, but to have this almost like rejuvenized new feel, I don't think I've had that in collecting in a while, so that's pretty exciting. um but anyway, so yeah, as far as my cards, I got Seal of Unfathomable, a heraldic mark.
Oh, nice! You got the merman one then, like the fish people one, right?
Seal of Unfathomable. Yep, yep,
Yep.
great. Because right instantly, I want to read this. This is when I read this. This is why I'm glad you brought this up, because I
Yeah.
actually planned on showing you here. It is not possible to understand the thoughts and designs of Cthulhu, harbinger of the end and most infamous of the great old ones, but many maddened cultists have tried, and there's some more there. So pretty awesome. When I saw that, I opened it up. I'm like, how in the hell did I get a fucking something that said Cthulhu on it already? So that was pretty cool. Do you know anything about that, or is there anything you want me to read off that?
Oh, no, it's fine. So one thing I would like to say though is like that card and then the other card that you have in your hand, they actually take the time to not only make the art for those cards, but they do these amazing write-ups that make them D&D 5e slash D20 fantasy compatible. So
Yeah.
like that will do something. That card that you just read, there's
Mm-hmm.
more text on there, and that will do something in a D&D game. So like once again, it's giving back to the community, but also making themselves part of that community. And I
Yeah.
see that other
It's
card that you
wild.
have not said what it is yet. And
Yeah.
once again, you bastard, you pulled something that I wanted and I did not get. So,
The Calamity
but
Blade.
but absolutely. But hey, all the love in the world to you, man. Congratulations, because not only is that a rarer card on its own to find, but you also got a foil, which is even rarer still. So,
Wait,
like,
no shit. I wondered.
yeah,
I was hoping you were going to say something like that. And
yeah.
this is my third, because the first one I got. Do you remember what I got from the Shield?
I do not remember what you got from the shield. I remember that you got the scimitar, but I don't remember what the card was.
Let me see. It should be right in here. Open it up. But yeah, I pulled that, and I'm like, man, I got a feeling this might be a good card. So, but I love that they do, like, that's crazy that they're compatible with D&D like that, because then that means that they're putting them also involved in that if your DM will let you use them, which is also not possible, but still they're not
When I ran the
crazy.
one shot last year, I ran the one shot with Como and Nin and the Wave One characters
Yeah,
being part of the story, and like the weapons, the ancestral blades and the venomous blades, like I put those into the players' hands and I let them play with them when I ran the D1 shot
very
last year.
cool.
It was great.
That's very cool. Yeah, no, this is the good stuff too. The this banner to the last warrior, another heraldic
Oh, you
mark.
got the human banner too. Nice.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
So some pretty cool stuff. I mean, it's fun. It's like you're already getting the pack of these figures. You guys got to understand, these figures are, what's the average retail? 50, 55, somewhere in there.
Yeah, $50.
Yeah.
And then like the deluxe figures right now are like 55, 60, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's weapon packs, there's all these accessories separately if you want, but you get so much in these figure packs. You get these cards that you're seeing now, you get a mystery weapon that you unlock that's an extra weapon to go for you, soft goods, all these pieces and bits, like yeah, yeah, it's amazing. I'm hooked. Kudos Savage Crucible. Thank you, Jeff, for getting me into something like this in my collecting, and it's already making me my shift my mindset of what I am and am not going to collect and spend my money in some ways as well too. So appreciate it. So make sure you guys, if again, check that link in the description for the Facebook Seven Dungeons. You want to get into that giveaway so you can win yourself maybe a Savage Crucible and get hooked into it like I am too. But I do want to at least mention action figure toy related that today at 5 p.m. Hasbro. There's a lot of announcements coming out for SDCC. Not a lot of things really caught me on the Star Wars sense. We now got the new HasLab. It's all right. Not gonna worry about that. But they did announce a Marvel Legend figure that really caught my eye, and it's pricey, and that's why everybody's kind of like on the fence or a little upset about it. I don't know if upset's the right word, but $7.99, $79.99. Mephisto. He comes
Yeah.
with a massive throne. I think
Yep.
soft good or cape or two.
Yep.
There's this. He's got the sword with them. And listen, I am very particular on the Hasbro figures I buy. Period. Anyways, whether it's
Yep.
Transformers, Marvel Legends, Star Wars, I'm very critical on nowadays. What I buy, but that Mephisto, I'm gonna have to pre-order.
Dude. Oh man.
Dude,
No,
it's
okay. So I have a hate relationship with that Mephisto figure.
okay.
And it's a hate. Like, first of all, they showed it 4 or 5 years ago,
I'm aware.
right? Then
Yep,
they tried to lock it behind the
I'm
Ghost
aware.
Rider.
I had that fucking thing. I was gonna buy that if we got Mephisto unlocked.
I had it on pre-order too. Like I wanted it. I understand that the fans spoke and they did not want it, but like to lock that Mephisto behind that Ghost Rider, and then when the Ghost Rider doesn't fund you, then like lump in the throne with it so that you can charge double the cost of your deluxe figures. Double the cost of your deluxe figures. Not double the cost of your standard figures. Double the cost of your deluxe figures. Like that it's insane. It's like, oh hey, this Luke Skywalker is gonna come with a blue and a green lightsaber. Pay $50 for it. Fuck off.
As a Ghost
Sorry.
Rider fan,
I
no,
know.
I'm here for it. As a Ghost Rider fan, it's tough for me. Like even then seeing the throne, it is so tough for me. I wanted that Robbie Reyes. Like my preference in is still Dan Ketch and some of that time frame, like 90s, Ghost Rider. But I got introduced to Robbie Reyes differently. I didn't get introduced originally from the comics. It was actually from the highly underrated television show that should have been MCU connected the entire time, Agents of Shield, even though it dwindled out
God,
pretty
that
bad towards the
show
end.
so good. So good.
Dude, huge fan. When Robbie Reyes was in there with that one, and I saw the car for the first time and all everything, I was like, damn it, I am sold on it. So then I went back, of course, and got some literature. But anyways, I say all that to say I gotta have this Mephisto. Like I didn't even like when I saw it. It was like the first thing I say to myself every time is, "You don't need it."
Yep.
And then as soon as I flipped a couple pages and saw, I'm like, God damn it, I need it. And I was trying so hard, but and I'm gonna try so hard because they're putting up today 5 p.m. on Hasbro Pulse. It's a limited time frame, so it's not like you got like first come first serve anything like that, or if it's out, it's like a minor. It's some baby HasLab is what it is because probably they had a ton ready for those HasLabs or who knows, but they want to test the water on it. I know. Anyways, I'm excited
How,
about it.
how long is the pre-order open on that? Because they might get me. Like I really don't want them to, but they might. How long's the pre-order window for it?
I want to say it's a couple weeks into August.
Okay. I mean, there's so much good stuff coming out on the independent toy scene to order
I
out
know.
of
I
San
got a
Diego.
bunch. Yeah.
But I mean, and like I said, I don't give you any hate for wanting Mephisto. I want Mephisto, but like I want Hasbro to like actually do right by us for a change, not
And they
lock
won't.
characters, right?
Yeah, and I complain about, Star Wars all the time, and here I am buying a controversial figure on the Hasbro, Marvel side of it. So, I guess I don't know what to tell anybody. I'm a piece of shit. And it's just there's some figure I don't buy like normally this is not a figure I would necessarily maybe buy on its own. I would debate it.
Right.
I really want a really good Blackheart again. I think the last one was a Banff for
Yep.
Blackheart.
Yep.
I want a Blackheart so bad. But anyways, I digress. I'm yeah.
But
So
yeah, it's just
yeah.
it's the locking things behind pre-orders and making it exclusive to your website, which you then also have to be a member of sometimes to get stuff like it. And you and I spoke at this personally outside of streaming. Like it's that locking accessibility away and that enforced self-imposed rarity
Yeah. I
that
know.
really drives me crazy because last time I checked, like if you're making the product as an artist, you should also be a fan of your own art and you should want it to get out to
Mhm.
as many people as possible.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you. I know, I get it. I'm the first one that complains about Hasbro, and then all of a sudden they throw a fucking piece of candy at me, and I'm gobbling up like Hansel and Gretel. So whatever.
Well,
Um,
like I said, no judgment, man. Like I'm the same. Trust
I
me,
know you
I've got
can't. I know.
yeah,
The problem is, it's like I'm battling myself over it too. So
yeah.
but either way. So well, hey, um, I appreciate you coming in here on a Saturday afternoon and do this. Saturday afternoons just work out really well for me a lot of the time. So, I know we want to continue and do these hangouts when we can, because you're typically accessible as well too. But we like a lot of the same shit anyways. So
Yeah, I
might as
gotta
well,
go see
right?
a baseball game tonight. Dayton Driving.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
that
excited.
that's exciting. That's good for you to have something cool like that. I'm going to hopefully take some figures, pictures of my figures, play a toys night, and do some stuff like that. I might even do a stream later. I'm still kind of debating if I do another like just a World According to Tone hangout and do some paint. And I got to finish this ship for the outpost, and I should really get on that.
It's
So
a
it's
Y wing.
possible.
Why? It's a Y wing that you're
It's
painting.
a Y wing prototype. So it
Okay.
was in the Rebels cartoon. Yeah. It's almost done. I just gotta hunker down and get the details in there and give it like a probably a little bit of a black wash or something. So we'll see. But uh, no, appreciate it, Jeff. Love you to death, brother. I'm glad we are able to do this and talk about things and much more. Of course, I do make sure that I mention that you can catch Jeff and the rest of the Seven Dungeons crew every Monday night, 7 p.m. live on YouTube and Twitch. Spinning Yarn, Shadow Spark Chronicles is the campaign they are in right now. I think we're kind of turning towards the end. There might be some end in sight, but then again, it is tabletop RPGing. It could also go really left and there's no sight, but that's how it's supposed to work. That's what
I,
makes
I
it
think
fun out
we're
of it.
only like halfway through Act Two.
Yeah,
To
you're
be honest
probably
with you.
right. Yeah, I think you are. But a lot of good stuff. I think that you guys have been killing it lately. This is the first time you guys are back in a month. It seemed to pick it up really just in ran. So it looked really good in that sense. But other than that, of course, half-ass beer reviews putting out content. If you have not seen, he's trying to. He's been busy, but if you have not seen our promo that me and him did this with the Great Lakes Beer Festival, I urge you to find us out on YouTube or especially a reel out on Instagram. We had a lot of fun doing it. We literally was texted early in the day, said, "Hey, you guys want to put together something zany and crazy for the festival?" And we said, "Yes, we do." And within an hour or so of time, we could created this little skit and got it all set and ran through. So,
As soon as it
um,
came across my feed, I had to message you because I was like, "Damn, this is like it's like you should write sketch comedy occasionally. It's good. It's real good."
appreciate it. Yeah, it was definitely fun to do. It was pretty equal, honestly, of our input of doing this stuff, and that's one thing me and Josh get together is when we're doing half-ass beer review things. We certainly gel and like to clown a lot. So when we get in those moments, it certainly works out well, and it seems to everybody's been talking about it and excited about it. And hey, Great Lakes Beer Festival is coming, of course, August 16th. That Saturday, we're going to be streaming there with Half Ass Beer Review, doing some recording. So we're only a few weeks away from that. Great event here locally. We love craft beer, and we appreciate that we're able to be partners with them and do this. So I look forward to doing more things, hopefully with those folks. But so check out Half Ass Beer Review. He's getting content out there for us here at Banter and Babble. my summer is finally getting more manageable, though I have a lot of things coming in the next few weekends. I do have a Let's Set the Tone potentially in 2 weeks, maybe next week, and I don't know if I'll get some content out. I'm going to try and do some more sporadic things. So I have more time on my plate. Hopefully, look for more content. Dude's really busy right now. He's not even home half the time. So just kind of keep the lookout for that. And if not, at the very least, August 16th, that Saturday, please make sure to tune in for that. It's going to be really exciting to do that. And of course, 2 weeks ago, Jeff was on Let's Set the Tone. Go back, check that out as well too. I'll probably try to loop that in with this description here. So, but with that, thank you for everybody for hanging out and being able to stop by. As always, make sure to check out other folks out there: Truth Beer Consequences, Grown Ass Men Toys, World Makers Consortium, and you can find me tomorrow night into the toy box with Bob and with Brian of Outer Multiverse. Looking forward to doing that as well. So, before we go, any last things you would like to say, Jeff?
Yeah, absolutely. From me, Jeff / Jehovah. We'll see you in the dungeon.
That's right. Perfect. Perfect. You guys.